I shall be reading today the Sunne Rising, which is another love poem by Donne. We have read in our earlier class the Good Morrow, and I tried to show you how the Good Morrow is a different kind of a love poem, how it is different from the conventional love poems of the Elizabethan age. I talked to you about Donne's distinctive characteristics and qualities, and I also mentioned how Donne and his followers were given a tag by different critiques, including Dryden and Dr. Samuel Johnson, and the tag was metaphysical. And later on, they came to be known as metaphysical poets. I tried to discuss what exactly today we mean by metaphysical poets, or rather the characteristics of metaphysical poetry. I also mentioned to you how Donne starts his poems, especially his love poems, rather abruptly in a conventional style, and how the opening statement is like an epigram, and as the poem proceeds, we feel that the epigram is being expanded or analyzed, and with the analysis of the epigram, the poem develops. I also showed to you how Donne used images, metaphors, comparisons, taking from the ordinary life, from the legend, from the philosophical treatise of St. Thomas Aquinas, and how Donne also referred to geography. So everyday life, legend, geography and philosophy, all these four things were taken up by Donne, and he used them for his comparisons. I tried to show, I tried to analyze, I tried to discuss how his comparisons are, how fantastic they are, how far-fetched they are, at least apparently how far-fetched they are. All these things I spoke in my previous class, and therefore I do not need to repeat them right now. But we can say that the Sunne Rising is one of the famous and popular love poems of Donne. And in today's lecture, I shall try to show how Sunne Rising and the Good Morrow are, although alike, slightly different from each other. Because in Good Morrow, there is more of a philosophical, sedate analysis, especially in the second and in the third stanzas. Although the first stanza there begins in a rather flippant way, but the second stanza and the third stanzas are more serious, because there Donne takes his images from philosophy. But here in this poem, the Sunne Rising, there is an element of gaiety. There is an element of gaiety. Flippancy is there. Seriousness, of course, is there. But it is definitely covered by a facade of gaiety. I shall try to show that to you. Therefore, although the Good Morrow and the Sunne Rising are both love poems, the Sunne Rising is definitely slightly different from the Good Morrow. I have written down on the board the difficult words and expressions, and I have given their meanings there. So, my dear boys and girls, you can see and note the meanings. Now I read the poem.
HDMI 1, no timing information.
Busy old fool, unruly sun,
No signal.
why dost thou thus through windows and through curtains call on us? Must to thy motions lovers' seasons run? So, well, we can see that there is a note of defiance. And how the lover here is addressing the sun. The dramatic element in the poem is apparent, is obvious from the very beginning. And well, we may note how he addresses the sun. Busy old fool. Busy means interfering. I've written down there. Please look at the board. Interfering. The sun is interfering. He interferes into the affairs, into private affairs, into the private affairs of the lover and the beloved. The sun rises. The normal thing is that we get up from bed when the sun rises. But the lovers are not going to obey the rules of the sun. The lovers will have their own rules. The lovers will frame their own rules. They will not abide by the rules set up by the sun. So why? The old sun, the old interfering sun will meddle into the affairs of the lover and the beloved. As if the poet takes the sun to task because of his meddling nature. Saucy, pedantic. Now, saucy. Now look at the word saucy. Saucy means impudent. And look at the word pedantic. Now, well, I don't know whether I did not, sorry. But then, well, I give you the meaning right now. Pedantic here means a bragger. Did I give you? Yes, I think I gave you. Yes. A pedantic is a bragger, yes. He's a bragger, one who brags, one who boasts, one who shows. As if the sun also tries to show his power. As if the sun wants to convey to all of us that it has its power on all of us. But the lovers will defy the sun. The sun doesn't have any power as if on the lover and the beloved. So, to the lover and the beloved, the sun is a bragger. He only shows off. Saucy, pedantic, wretch, go, chide, late schoolboys. And look at the, well, funny way the lover or the poet addresses the sun and tells him, well, you have your sway, you have your power on the schoolboys. The schoolboys will have to get up and go to school in the morning. Go there and call them up. But not us, not the lover and the beloved. No, we are not going to obey what you are saying. We shall have our own laws. We shall frame our own laws, own rules. So go and chide the schoolboys, the late schoolboys, and sore apprentices. Sore, let me see whether I wrote it. Yes, I wrote it. Sore means reluctant, unwilling. Apprentices means apprentices. The apprentices are reluctant. Well, they are reluctant to go to their work, to their workshop. So you, son, you may go to them, remind them that the time is up, that the time has come. It is their time. It is time for them to go, to start for their workshop. You can go and tell them this. But when you have no business with us, Mr. Son, the old man, the old interfering person, you do not have anything with us, because our life is our life and we do not depend on you.
Select channels below. Press the source button.
Go tell court huntsmen that the king will ride. So you can go, and you can also remind the courtiers of the king. The time has come, the time has arrived for the king. And the king is ready. The king will go for hunting. The courtiers and the huntsmen must accompany him. You can go and tell them, but not to us. Do not bother us, please. Now, there is an allusion. Now, well, perhaps this poem was written in 1603. And James I was the king of England. And James I was addicted to hunting. Perhaps every morning he used to go for hunting. And there may be, as scholars and critics have pointed out, that there may be an allusion to the King of England, James I. And that is a very interesting observation by the critics. Called country ants to harvest offices. So who are these country ants? These country ants are slavish farmers. These slavish farmers will have to go to their fields every day for their work. So maybe that one night, well, they were tired and they're sleeping overtime. And Mr. Sun, you can go and tell them the time has come. It's time for them to go and start for their work in the field. You can go to them. So, to whom you can go? You can go to the school children and tell them that the school hour has come. You can go to the reluctant apprentices and tell them that they must start for the workshop right now. And even you can go to the courtiers, the huntsmen of the king, and tell them that the king is ready and they must go and accompany the king for his hunting expedition, but not to us. Mind you, sir, not to us. Love, all alike, no season knows, not climb, nor hours, days, months, which are the rags of time. The rags of time, subdivisions of time, all these are, we must remember that all these time, hour, minute, second, all these are mechanical divisions of time. But these mechanical divisions man has made according to the dictates of the sun. Even this cosmic time, the day and the night, is dictated by the sun. But the lover and the beloved do not care about that. They have their own seasons, they have their own time, they have their own year and month. Everything is fixed up by them. So, Mr. Sun, do not ever come to meddle into their affairs. The second stanza. Thy beams so revered and strong, why should thou think, oh son, you think that you are very effective, you are very powerful, that when you are up, everybody must get up from the bed? Why do you so think so? Are you so strong and powerful, overbearing? No, you are not that. I could eclipse and cloud them with a wink. Now this is very interesting and funny. As the lover says that I can wink, meaning I can close my eyes. If I close my eyes, then there is no sun. All your beams are gone. Well, there will be darkness. But I do not do that. I do not want to close my eyes even for a moment. Because if I close my eye, then I shall lose sight of my beloved. And I do not want to lose sight of my beloved even for a moment. And therefore, oh sun, you are getting a respite. So look at the expression once again. I could eclipse and cloud them with a wink, but that I could not lose her sight so long. So I cannot accept the fact that my beloved will not be in front of me. She must be always in front of me. Well, I cannot bear to brook this situation where the beloved is not there. Therefore I shall not close my eyes. Or I could have closed my eyes and just washed you off, Mr. Sun. If I close my eyes, then where are your beams? I do not see them. But I do not close my eyes because, well, I want to continue looking at my beloved always, for all hours. If her eyes have not blinded thine, look, and tomorrow late tell me where both the Indies of spice and mine be, where thou leftest them, or lie here with me. Now once again, there is a similarity here in this comparison between this poem and the other poem that I read. In the other poem, in the earlier poem, that is the Good Morrow, the two lovers are compared to two hemispheres. Now, the beloved, here in this poem, the beloved is the whole world. And the lover says, the poet or the lover says that, well, the sparkle of my beloved's eyes can just extinguish you, can blind you. And if she has not blinded you, if her eyes have not blinded you, then come and tell me tomorrow if you do still retain the territories on which you had your sway. Because all the territories are mine. Because all these territories reside, live, exist in the person of my beloved. My beloved symbolizes, or rather stands for, everything on earth. Everything. Both the Indies means West Indies and India. And spice and mine. So spice means, well, spice of India and gold mines of West Indies. So gold mines of West Indies and the spice of India are both with me. Because both exist in the person of my beloved. My beloved means the entire world. And therefore, Mr. Sun, though, if my beloved has not blinded you, then come back tomorrow and tell me whether those territories are still with you or you have forfeited them. Look, and tomorrow, late means at a late hour, tell me whether both the Indies of spice and mine be where thou leftest them, or lie here with me. Because, well, they are now with me. They are now, as I said, they are now in the person of my beloved. Alike for those kings whom thou sawest yesterday, thou shalt all here in one bed lay. So our bed, the bed of the lover and the beloved, is the entire universe. Once again, I remind you that in the Good Morrow, we had read the same thing. Well, the lover and the beloved are two hemispheres and they become one. And that world is equal to the entire world. So the world of the lover and the beloved can challenge the world outside. And here in this poem, the lover reiterates the same thing, that the world is symbolized by his beloved, or rather, the beloved herself stands for the world. So everything, the gold mines, the spice forest, the kings, the generals, the princess, all are there to be seen in our sphere, in our bed. The bed of the lover and the beloved is equivalent to the world outside. Now the third stanza. She's all states and all princes. I nothing else. So she represents the entire world or the entire universe, and without her there is nothing. Or rather, it can be analyzed in a different way. So without her means without love. Without love there is nothing else. Nothing matters without love. The only substantial thing is love. Love is the only substantial thing. Princes do but players. Compared to this, and all honors mimic. So all the princes and kings, all their honor, all their gold, all their treasure, all their wealth, they lie with us in this bed of ours. And she is incomparable. Nothing else can be compared to her. And all honors mimic. Now, mockery. Mimic, I have written down there. Mimic means mockery. So all honor is mockery. All prestige is meaningless, futile. Only she is revered, honorable, substantial. Nothing else is. All honors mimic, all wealth, alchemy. Alchemy here means counterfeited, not real. So all other wealth, all other treasures are counterfeited. They are not real. The real wealth can be seen only with us. Thou, son, art half as happy as we in that world's contracted thus. Thine age asks ease, and since thy duties be to worm the world that's done in worming us. Oh son, you are a lonely person. You are unhappy. Lonely son, you are unhappy. We are happy because we are two and we are one. Because we have love. And son, in your lone splendor, you are alone. Now well, you are bright. This reminds us of Keats's poem, Bright star, would I were steadfast as thou art. Keats says, but then Keats adds that the bright star is lonely. The sun is also lonely, as Donne points out. Lonely sun. And the sun is old. And therefore, well, the burden of age is telling upon the sun. Heavy duty he has, because he has to bestow his beams, his light on every object on the planet. Now the lover says that, well, he can try to lessen the work of the sun by suggesting that the sun now should come and give his light only on the bed of the lover and the beloved, because the bed of the lover and the beloved represents the whole world. So by giving its light on the bed of the lover and the beloved, the sun actually is finishing his duty of lighting, giving light to the entire planet. So, once again, the flippant tone is visible throughout the poem. In fact, this flippant tone is visible. Since here to us thou art everywhere. So if you are here, that means you'll be everywhere. And this bed thy center is. These walls thy sphere. Now the bed will be the center. Now, this is a reference to Ptolemy. Ptolemy's theory was that Earth was in the center of the solar system and the sun moves around the Earth. So the Earth is represented by the bed of the lover and the beloved. So the bed of the lover and the beloved is the center, and the sun can come and move around them. That will be finishing the sun's duty, because the bed represents the world. And sphere, if you note, the sphere means orbit. The sun's orbit will be complete if the sun moves around the bed. Once again, I remind you that Donne is referring to here the theory of Ptolemy. So look at the three stanzas. Look at the three stanzas. Throughout the poem, throughout these three stanzas, we can see the dramatic vein of the poet. We can see the flippant mood of the lover, of the poet. And we can also point out that this poem has almost a syllogistic structure. Now I have tried to textually analyze the poem, and now I'll point out to you certain other things, which you may note. Now the three stanzas offer almost a syllogistic pattern. In syllogism, we have three statements. The two are premises and the third is a conclusion. So the first stanza and the second stanza of the poem may be explained as the major premise and the minor premise, and the concluding stanza is the conclusion. The poet begins by telling the sun that the sun is wasting its time, or rather the sun is interfering into the private affairs of the lover and the beloved. The sun need not do that, because the world of the lover and the world of the beloved is specifically their world, where the sun doesn't have any sway, where the sun doesn't have any power. That is the first stanza, the first premise. In the second stanza, the poet points out that everything that is there in the world may be found in that small bed. Or rather, the world of the lover and the beloved, the bed of the lover and the beloved, symbolizes the world in its entirety. So all the gold mines, all the spice forests and princes and kings, all can be found in this small space of the lover and the beloved. And in the third stanza, which is the conclusion, the lover says that the bed of the beloved and the lover, or rather the world of the lover and the beloved is rather an alternative world. It can stand, it can be projected as an alternative world. And if the sun comes and moves around that world, the world of the lover and the beloved, the duty of the sun will be over. So we can say that the poem has been very ingeniously, very skillfully, very adroitly composed, almost in a syllabistic pattern. And second point, well, I told you that the same colloquial and style, addressing the sun, calling the sun old, foolish, saucy, etc. So the colloquial style is there, and in the conversation between the poet and the sun, there is a note of gay impertinence. You know the meaning of the word impertinence? Well, disobedience, which is akin to irreverence. The sun is not an object of reverence to the lover and the beloved. And the poet categorically states that there is nothing in the sun to be honored by the lover and the beloved, because the lover and the beloved are much higher than the sun. So the gay impertinence, the note of gay impertinence is there in the poem. Now the sun is challenged from the beginning. We find the sun is challenged. Well, sun, you are powerful. Come, look at us. We are more powerful. And finally, the sun is pitied. Well, you are old. You are lonely. The burden of work is too much for you. And, there is a fusion of pity and wit in the poem. So this is very, very, very interesting. I stand corrected. I wanted to say that there is a fusion of passion, not pity, passion and wit. So passion of the lover for the beloved, the passion of the love poem. Well, the passion is not there in such an amount in the earlier poem that I read. In the Good Morrow, the passion of the lover is not there in such a degree. Here, the passion of the lover eulogizing the beloved out of proportion, which is not there in the earlier poem, in the Good Morrow. So passion and wit, of course, and wit, because the beloved being compared to the forests of India and the gold mines of West Indies. So, that is definitely wit and conceit combined together. And yes, throughout the poem we find tonal modulations, as we find in a drama. Now, first, the poet addresses the sun as if he is addressing somebody who has little honor, flippant style. And then the tone changes from flippancy to statement of adoration for the beloved. Then again in the third stanza, flippancy and the mood of challenge and adoration for the beloved all fused. So as I said, there is a tonal variation in the poem, and there is a fusion of passion and wit in the poem. And finally, two things I have to write down, two things only, so which I shall do. Now, these two things I wanted to point out to you. One name I have written, Anne More. Anne More is John Donne's wife, John Donne's beloved, and finally she became John Donne's wife. The passionate love between the poet and his wife definitely finds expression in his love poems. The lover's passionate love and great adoration for the beloved may be, in fact, actually the poet's great love and great adoration for his wife, whom he married in 1601, and probably this poem, as I pointed out, was written in 1603. And the second thing that I wanted to point out is all-nothing antithesis. This has been pointed out by M.M. Mahood, a critic. He has said that in this poem in particular, there is this all-nothing antithesis. Love means all, and if there is no love, there is nothing. So, the poet is all. The world of the poet has everything, all the things, all the honors, all the prestige, all the wealth, all the treasure can be found in the world of the poet, the world of the lover, the beloved, because there is love. But the sun has nothing, because the sun doesn't have any love. So if there is love, there is everything. When there is no love, there is nothing. So this theory, this all-nothing theory, well, I told you in our earlier class also that this all-nothing theory was there, applied in the Good Morrow as well. But here in this poem, this is more obviously applied. And we can see this, the all-nothing theory. The poet says that, well, since he has his beloved with him, he has his love with him, he has everything. He doesn't require anything else. Now, I shall be ending my class here.